Hello everyone, just doing a bit of freehand on this one and hopefully it's all going to go well. So as you recall from the previous video in terms of the schematic and the wiring, I've now got all this plumbed in. So if we take that down, here is my DC jack. That's now got three cables running in. So one is the red cable, which is coming from the camera. I've got this black cable here, that's the cable that will supply the screen. And running from that is another red cable. You could just make it out there, which is again connected to the red positive connection, and the positive connection through to the board here. The negative wire again is coming out from here and then connected direct to the negative over, oops, let's get a hand in there, negative to the other part of the DC jack. Now for these two parts here, let me just get this into focus again. When you get your cables, you'll have a red cable for these parts here. By all means, you can cut them off for purely audio, so snip them off, it makes the wiring easier. Another little tip that I would suggest is when you cut the cables back, leave approximately about an inch and a half more of the red cable on the power supply for your camera and also your screen. The reason being, once you actually cut these back, you can get the two connectors here relatively short, so when you are fitting this back into the box, which I'm going to try and do one-handed, this is probably not going to work, but you kind of get my understanding. Once I pull this cable through, that'll sit quite nicely. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just pause that and show you on how neat it'll fit. There we go, so I've just pulled the black cable through slightly, so just need to get something to hold the board steady, but that generally, rightly or wrongly, just gently rests on the wiring itself. I mean, I'll give it a go and see what happens with it, but you can see that all fits nicely in one box. I mean, if I just drop the box on here, there's no real pressure on that I'm putting on to this apart from getting the bolts lined up. Pop that in there. Oh look, what a lovely little sticker that is. What does that say? Night Vision Builders. Anyway, so that's how you kind of get all into a box quite nicely. I will put the links onto how to get my camera board onto this particular part here. I've done a video before and I did think about doing it all from scratch, and I thought, well, it might be a bit of a waste of time, but just as a proof that it all works, pop it all in, screen on, and there we go. Hey, hello! So, there we go, so that all works. Again, lo and behold, I haven't got the SD card in, but that's not a problem, that's a problem from beforehand. Right, so there you go, that's how you would put it in. Any questions? Let me know. So there you have it, there's the footage from the cheap DVR. Now, first impressions are it's a nice little unit. I just need to work out on how to get a button to actually start and stop the recording. I did have a bit of a kind of a funny moment where I put the DVR back into the case and then realised I couldn't stop the bloody thing. But by the by, I'll get that sorted out and see on how I get along. The other thing that you'll notice is the quality. I've used this camera and screen as a setup for a long while now, and it works perfectly. If I'm perfectly honest, with the video that is being shown on the screen at the time of shooting, clarity is not a problem. I'm slightly disappointed at the moment in terms of the quality of the footage that's been recorded, but I want to play around with some settings. There's something not quite right. and I believe that I might be able to fine tune that out, but I need to spend a little bit more time with that. The other thing is it saves it in a file format which I've not heard of. Well, it's been around but for a long time, called ASF format. I believe it's an old Windows type format. So normally we would have an MP4 or an MPEG for an example. The file format's not one that I recognise. Might be something to do with how YouTube re-encodes it. I've tried it on the PC and I'm still getting the kind of pixelation, but on YouTube it seems to amplify it. So again, I'm going to address that. I'm going to try and play around with a lot of settings. Hopefully I'll find a happy medium where the quality is not impaired and still get good footage. One final note, my shooting was crap. Yes, I was just taking quite loose aim shots. I wasn't there doing it for accuracy. It was purely just to get in shots downrange to show the principle of that it will be able to record footage. So please don't comment on that because I know it's rubbish. So keep tuned. I will come back on this video. I did say this was going to be a three-parter, but I think this one might need a tidy up of if anyone wants to go through and buy this particular board, the discussion part of actually getting the refinements so everyone's got a nice working kit. So thanks again, like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks a lot.